And, this kid, 21-year-old George, says something very insightful to me. And it was because I would say I had someone who, in Los Angeles, I would call a mentor, even though we barely did speak. But when we did speak, it was nothing but sheer wisdom coming out of his mouth. And he said something that sticks with me to this day and something I think about often. And I'll give you a little bit of background. He came from New Orleans and then he came to Los Angeles. He made a big move. He decided to go all in. And even though he was typically in the same position as myself, he had the same internal dialogue. He had the same sort of pressure to make it. He took the big risk, and now he had this internal dialogue that he had to deal with, but he was able to calm it down with this particular thought that just stuck with me, and I said about it, and I talked about it in the voice memo. And it's, even though internally I'm going through the most chaos, even though internally I am terrified and petrified, because I have no idea what's going to come next. I have no idea the challenges that I'm going to face physically. It's all uncertain. However, being embraced in uncertainty by pushing myself to put my ass where my heart wants to be, that brings me the most clarity because I'm doing the thing. I'm pushing for what I want most. And I'm literally embedded in the position that can get me to where I want to go most. And even though I am uncertain, even though I'm petrified and terrified of what's potentially going to happen to me, what challenges I'm going to face, what's going to come my way, I am at pure peace, pure bliss, because the thing I want most comes from the most uncertain aspect of my life. Comes after the petrified, after being terrified, after being so uncertain that you don't want to go, but you decide to go anyway. And that brought me a lot of clarity, because here I was, a kid from Reno Valley, where if you look around in this area, there's not many areas that, or people that are interested in the type of things that I'm interested in. So it's a risk going all the way to Los Angeles every week, having to get my ass where my heart wants to be. But in the process of doing it, I have no idea how Los Angeles is. I'm a small town kid, born and raised here, never really dealing with the hardships of life or the reality of life, just so comfortable in my own skin. But because I've now grown this sort of ambitious sort of mind, here I go on a train every Tuesday, Thursday, riding my way to LA Union Station so that way I can get closer to my dream. And that in and of itself, even though I had the body, even though I was building up the mindset, at that time I was terrified. At that time I was uncertain. At that time I just didn't know how to comprehend the challenges that I was dealing and facing with at the time. I didn't know how to understand the internal chatter that was going on, the self-doubt. But I was so self-righteous that I was capable of pushing through the noise and being able to do it anyway. And that always helps me out, man, is that I think pushing for something, going after something, pushing for a particular endeavor and suffering on your way towards it is how it's meant to be. And if you can find clarity on the fact that you're suffering towards something, then that can bring you real peace, because the suffering is worth it. The suffering is for a purpose. And if you can suffer your way towards what you want most, then there's nothing that's more rewarding on the outcome of it. And that always brought me peace. That always brought me clarity. I can't remember precisely his words, but he says, I feel at the most peace even though I'm at my most worried, even though I'm at my most anxious, even though I'm at my most chaos internally. Because this is what we have to get through in order to get to where we want to go most. This is the process. And on the outskirts, on the other side, is what we want most. And that always brought me clarity. That always brought me peace. Feel free to check out my other interviews with other cool people as well. I'll link it right over here somewhere, maybe right here or something. Who knows? But the upcoming episode is going to be coming up on Friday. If so, adjust your calendars accordingly, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.